Of Parliament for Chaguanas West, Mr. Chaguana, my colleagues from Parliament, councillors, Mrs. Warner, friends, relatives, I have not been able to read this paper yet because he had it wrapped up, but if, as his wish is, putting Chaguanas first, then Mr. Warner has succeeded this evening to put Chaguanas first among the UNC constituents. So I congratulate Mr. MP Warner, Jack Warner, or MP for Chaguanas West, on being the first Member of Parliament to implement the party's directive that every UNC MP and coordinator will produce a monthly newsletter giving information about the constituency. I just sat down and wrote that there. That's why I hate to talk after Suraj. I just writing it there, and he mentions everything I want to say before I come out here. Even the next paragraph that I have. I sat down and write that as I said. So I want to repeat what Suraj said, that was a decision of the executive that we would start a monthly newsletter for every constituency to begin with, or sitting MPs, and later we'll include the coordinators as fast as that is possible. Brothers and sisters, we are constrained to adopt this course because, as Jack said, the problem speaking after him too, as Jack says, it is because of the blatant bias of some of the media. And I say some, and I stress some. That means not all of them. I can see the guilty faces when I look around, and I can see those who are smiling. It has been, again, as Suraj said, it has been a perennial problem, a perpetual complaint that people always complaining, I don't see my MP. In fact, I think that has developed into a habit of people, a sort of greeting, mantra. So I had to develop, I've been there for 30 years, so I had to develop a strategy of how do I deal with this business. And so my strategy was, every time I meet a constituency, before he could open me mouth, he said, I say, boy, but I don't see you at all. And then I have him on the defensive, and he said, Chief, you say, I said, yeah, he said, well, you see, a little busy these days, and so on and so forth. And that is how I avoided that attack. Where every time I see him, he said, the boss, I don't see him. So I decided to take before take me. So I decided that I don't see him. But we don't have to resort to that again because of this idea that we have that we shall have this newsletter. As I say, I do not know what the newsletter contains. I just read that paragraph there and so on. And, but I am sure it will contain what the constituency considers to be what is most relevant to them at this point in time. And I hope the newspaper will assuage this difficulty that we have where people say they don't see us and so on. Eventually, whatever the paper contains, as I say, it will contain what they consider to be relevant at this point in time. But eventually, I hope that the constituency newsletter will contain information about, well, first of all, of course, the address of the constituency office, the hours of its operations, when the MP can be seen at the office. It will contain the names and addresses of all the councillors operating within the constituency area, and where their offices are, and on what days they are accessible to the public. I hope eventually the newsletter will contain the problems of the constituency and indeed of the surrounding areas. Sometimes they will not be able to avoid what happens in the surrounding areas. As Jack himself just said, I don't think the bridge falls in your constituency, does it? Oh, it does. The bridge falls in his constituency. But because we are... because of the contiguous nature of the central and south constituencies, I'm sure they'll contain information even about other constituencies. We will give as much information as we can. People, for example, I read in the papers, people who don't know what's going on, and they say, UNC should have a women's arm, and the UNC should have a youth arm, and so on. Does anybody know that the youth arm held the most successful fundraising dinner last night at the Rienzi complex under the leadership of its president, a nice young girl called Afifa Mohammed? But they don't know. Newspaper won't print that. Dog bite man is not news. Man bite dog. That is news. So that you have a function, the youths have a function. They're not publishing that. That is no news. If somebody had cussed up somebody at the function, aha, that was going to make headline this morning. So that I would hope that the constituency would include information, not only about things like that, but it will include the fact that we have a women's arm in the constituency, and that these are the people that constitute the women's arm, and that this is the program of the women's arm, and so too of the youth arm, and so on. And people will begin to realize, begin to know that this party is alive and kicking and bubbling, because it is. This party, the UNC, is the most active political party in Trinidad today, including the PNC. People don't know the work we are doing. People don't know that John Sylvester works and controls almost all the northern constituencies now. People don't know that. So there's an enormous amount of work going on, and what we have to do is to inform the public that we are doing this work. I imagine eventually it will contain people's problems. We must not be afraid to expose the problems people face in the constituency. And people will themselves, as Jacques again said, be writing and saying what their problems are. And we, the parliamentarians and the MPs and the councillors, will be responding in the newsletter and telling them what we are doing about it. Jack? This don't sound like a newsletter, this sounds like a tabloid. So I heard Jack said that we are going to some little fit, so I'm going to be short after this. So I want to congratulate the MP for Chaguanas West, Mr. Jack Warner, for this venture, and to hope that other MPs, including myself, will emulate him, and that we will produce, each constituency will produce their paper. And Jack, I thank you very much, you and your staff. I know you have a wonderful staff here, they do a great job. I thank you for the work that you have done, and I hope that all the MPs will emulate you. Thank you, Jack. God bless you, brother. Before I finish, Jack mentioned one thing again, and I thought I couldn't leave. I have a little side note there. Is that anybody we support in Chaguanas wins this seat. I want to tell somebody else that anybody else we don't support always lose it.
Even if you need to Obama.
Thank you, political leader of United National Congress, Mr. Bazir Pandey. Thank you once again. Having a newsletter like this